I read Out on a Limb, a collection of essays by Andrew Sullivan, written between 1989 and 2021. Here Comes the Groom, 1989, makes the case for gay marriage. There were already domestic partnerships that could exist between any two people, dependent on one another, but that could lead to litigation. Sullivan argues allowing gays to marry is actually a socially conservative idea. The Two Faces of Bentonhurst, 1990, describes Bentonhurst, a neighborhood of Brooklyn, New York City. Its population is a mix of Asian, Black, Hispanic, Italian, and Jewish people. After the murder of a black teenager, Yusuf Hopkins, in 1989, it was the site of protest by Al Sharpton, but the people who live there don't think of it as a racist place. Gay Life, Gay Death, The Siege of a Subculture, 1990, explores how AIDS is part of the environment for gay men. They segregate into HIV-positive and negative spaces. It made intimacy difficult. It's difficult for blacks and other minorities. Some pour their energy into the ACT UP organization, but most of its members will be dead within a few years. Taken on Seriously, 1991, gives us a portrait of Michael Oakeshott. He died with little notice, though he had once been a great philosopher. He believed in restraint and love and acceptance. Quilt, 1993, is about the AIDS quilt. It was a colorful, tacky piece of art. Increasingly, heterosexual families began to visit as well. The Politics of Homosexuality, 1993, describes 4 types of approach to homosexuality and why they each fail. The first is conservative and contends sex is about procreation, and that homosexuality is an aberration, but suppression is not possible in the modern world. The second is radical. They wish to subvert society, but end up purity spiraling and alienating everybody. The third is moderate. They wish for balance, but they can't avoid these questions forever. The fourth is liberal, which categorizes gays as another civil rights victims group like blacks, but there's too many differences between race and sexuality. Alone Again Naturally, 1994, contemplates the role of homosexuality in the Catholic Church. Cardinal Ratzinger agreed that homosexuals deserve dignity. It's different from alcoholics, who can give up their self-indulgence and find happiness. It's also different from sterile people, who are still allowed to marry. When Plagues End, Notes on the Twilight of an Epidemic, 1996, is about gay life after the end of the AIDS epidemic. They used to live like second-class citizens, but the epidemic made them responsible for themselves. They would forever be like soldiers who survived a war. My America, 1996, observes what makes America great. The author notes the easy familiarity that occurs between Americans of different social classes, which does not exist in his British homeland. He also admires America's focus on the future. The Princess Bride says Princess Diana was an honorary American. She was a modern and charismatic innovation of a stale institution. She was friends with celebrities and appeared on magazine covers. Americans saw her as a rebel and wanted her to find freedom. Unsung Heroine, 1998, is a praise of Monica Lewinsky. She has had her life disrupted and scrutinized, but she has been honest throughout. Going Down Screaming, 1998, explains how, although Bill Clinton did lurid things, that conservatives became puritanical and overplayed their hands. What's So Bad About Hate, 1999, is cautious about hate crimes legislation. Hate is not well defined, and human motivations are complicated, and victimizers were often victims themselves. The He Hormone, 2000, describes the author's experience injecting testosterone. It made him far more willing to take risks. The Invisible Man, 2003, is an obituary for Bayard Rustin, an African-American homosexual who played a large role in the civil rights movement. I Am Bear, Hear Me Roar, 2003, explores the gay bear subculture. They are hairy, overweight, and mellow. They are subversive precisely because they blur the lines between straight and gay. Integration Day, 2004, celebrated how Massachusetts was the first state to allow gay marriages 50 years after the Supreme Court ruled on Brown versus the Board of Education. Gays no longer need to live separate lives but can start families. Log Cabin Republican, 2005, debates whether Abraham Lincoln was gay. He was known to share a bed with other men, even in the White House. Life Lesson, 2005, observes how Democrats seem so morally callous towards abortion, but then Hillary Clinton is moving things in a better direction. Superstar, 2005, is an obituary for Pope John Paul II. He brought drama to the secluded papacy. Crisis of Faith, 2005, examines conservatism. There is the conservatism of faith that believes in eternal truth and is willing to use big government. Then there is the conservatism of doubt, which tolerates differing perspectives and acts with more restraint. Still Here, Not Sorry, 2005, is a sarcastic apology for being HIV positive and still healthy. The End of Gay Culture, 2005, explains that a distinct gay culture is disappearing as gays are more successfully integrated into mainstream society. The Abolition of Torture, 2005, comments on the debate about torture that occurred during the Bush administration. Torture creates a totalitarian relationship between the torturer over the tortured, and once torture is allowed, it will spread further. Islamo bullies get a free ride from the West, 2006, explains disappointment that anti-Islamic cartoons published in a Danish cartoon were not reprinted. Gay cowboys embraced by redneck country, 2006, praises the gay cowboy film Brokeback Mountain. When not seen is believing, 2006, expresses concern for the certainty of fundamentalism. Jesus himself had moments of doubt, and Christians should seek answers with humility. The Reagan of the Left, May 2007, describes an early impression of Barack Obama. He is an effective liberal advocate who fulfills the people's desire for change. A Married Man, 2007, describes the author's jitters before he is to get gay married in Massachusetts in 1 week. Goodbye to All That, Why Obama Matters, December 2007, makes the case for presidential candidate Barack Obama. He represents a truth between the left and the right of the baby boomer generation in a way that no other candidate can. Hillary Clinton seems more defensive. Obama appeals to white people because he isn't an angry black man. Obama had a non-racial childhood and had to learn about the African-American experience. How Did I Get Iraq Wrong, March 2008, is introspective about why the author was initially supportive of the Iraq War. He suggests that seeing military power succeed during the Cold War, the narrow morality of removing the tyrant Saddam Hussein from power, an unconservative dismissal of Iraq's deep sectarian divisions, and a misreading of how Bush's good intentions could lead to evil results such as torture, all had contributed to his terror. Phobia at the Gates, 2008, observes that America still bans HIV-positive visitors. Why I Blog, 2008, explains why this author blogs. He explains a blog is an instant thought. It's like a public diary, and a blogger's personality will inevitably manifest. Bloggers must be willing to be wrong, and readers will respond more fiercely than any editor could. It can feel like readers are your friends, and some of them can provide rare insights. Republican Taliban declare jihad on Obama, 2009, observes Obama a month into his presidency. He has accommodated Republicans, but Republicans brought fierce opposition. Mad Men in America, the Wisest of All, 2009, expresses the author's frustration with America, but also observes how it can provoke the best. Obama's race dream is swiftly shackled, 2009, opines on the case of Ph.D. Henry Louis Gates, who was arrested on his own front porch by a local police officer. Leaving the Right, 2009, lists why the writer has exited the Republican Party. Obama Trimmer, 2009, posits that a conservative should be about balance, not ideology. Obama's like a trimmer, the crew member who makes sure that a boat is on an even level. Dear Ta-Nehisi, 2011, is a disagreement with the author Ta-Nehisi Coates over racial differences in IQ. The author seeks the truth first. Why continue to build settlements, 2012, asks why Israel continues to build settlements in the West Bank. They are reluctant to explain why, but the reason is obvious. Israel has no intention of ever giving the land back to Palestinians. Netanyahu is influenced by his father Ben Zion. Christianity in Crisis, 2012, observes how contemporary Christianity is so different from how Jesus and St. Francis lived. The first elite conservative to say enough, 2012, praises Justice Roberts for his ruling on Obamacare. He is conservative in a way Republican representatives and voters are not. Thatcher, Liberator, 2013, praises how Margaret Thatcher transformed Britain. Surprised by Grief, 2013, is the author mourning after his beagle died. The author was a selfish bachelor when he got her. She was a messy, noisy dog. Rush Limbaugh knows nothing about Christianity, 2013, compares the statements of radio host Rush Limbaugh to statements of the Catholic Church regarding market capitalism. What is the meaning of Pope Francis, 2013, is optimistic about the new Pope Francis. After years of scandal and secularism, he brings a new intimacy and humility. Democracies die when they are too democratic, May 2016, admonishes Trump as a violent demagogue. The philosopher Plato thought democracy led to tyranny. I Used to Be a Human Being, 2016, laments how the author, like so many other people, have become addicted to the internet. Half the people say they couldn't live without a smartphone, and our human skills have atrophied. America and the Abyss, written November 3, 2016, warns Americans not to elect Trump, whom he describes as a proto-fascist cult leader. America wasn't built for humans, 2017, bemoans tribalism and partisanship. Kaepernick's message is getting lost, along with the facts on race and police violence, 2017. NFL player Colin Kaepernick has been kneeling to protest police violence. The murders of unarmed black men are actually quite rare. We all live on campus now. 2018 is concerned that social justice is spreading from university campuses into the real world. The poison we picked, 2018, notes the opioid epidemic. Poppies produce opioids that make you feel serene, but withdrawal is hard. Prescription painkillers were common, but have been replaced with fentanyl that kills tens of thousands of Americans. This Yes to Drugs, 2018, describes how psychedelics makes one feel universal love. America's New Religious, 2018, expresses concern that without religion, people turn to extreme politics like wokeness or Trumpism. The Nature of Sex, 2019, is skeptical of transgenderist ideology. By abolishing biological sex, it abolishes female-only spaces, and it also abolishes homosexuality. Why Joe Biden might be the best bet to beat Trump, 2019, considers Joe Biden for president. Though some commenters regard Biden as out of touch, he does have real working-class appeal. A plague is an apocalypse, but it can bring a new world. July 2020 comments on the COVID epidemic and compares it to past epidemics. The Unbearable Whiteness of the Classics, 2021, and that's how some universities are dismantling their classics for being too white. Two Sexes, Infinite Genders, 2021 observes that more U.S. adults are identifying as LGBT. All in all, it's a pretty grim book. It's a book largely about death. It's about people dying of HIV/AIDS, and there's a bunch of obituaries included too. But it's never lightened by any humor. The author can be thoughtful and independent, but also a little pretentious and shrill. He's hard to pin down politically. He claims to be conservative, Catholic, and an admirer of Margaret Thatcher, and an enemy of social justice. He also seems to hate the Republican Party, Rush Limbaugh, Sarah Palin, and Donald Trump. He's voted for Obama, Hillary, and Biden in the last several elections. It was really interesting to watch the gradual transformation of gay rights from 1989 to 2021. Gay marriage seemed radical in 1989, and by 2021, transgenderism was prolific. Overall, I give the book a 7 out of 10.